अस्सलाम वालेकुम। पाकिस्तान टेलीविजन सर्विस की जानिब से तारिक अजीज आपसे मुखातिब है। ख़वातीन हज़रात, आज जुमेरात है और नवंबर की 26 तारीख। पाकिस्तान टेलीविजन अपनी नशरियात
मैं जांदी जांदी रुक गई बाऊ जी गल में।
Alaikum and welcome to this special on PTV World. Today is a very auspicious day. Today was a very day in 1964 when Pakistan television began its transmissions. 58 years down the road, we have learnt a lot, we have evolved a lot, we have seen a lot. I might not have seen, but there are others who have been there from the very beginning, who have been the hallmarks of what Pakistan television stands for. The dignity, the environment that Pakistan television used to have and still continues to have is because of gentlemen and ladies that have been part of the beginning of Pakistan television, my father of course included. But the person that is going to be my guest today, with whom we are going to discuss different aspects of Pakistan television, its beginning time, then the highs and the lows, and these current times as well, in the times of streaming networks such as Netflix, in times of plethora of channels from different countries, and also the private media. How does Pakistan television stand out even in these days? We have with us, I'll just call him by two names, my mentor as well as an encyclopedia of Pakistan television. He is Khaja Najmul Hasan. Khaja Sahab, thank you very much to have joined us.
Thank you so much.
Khaja Sahab, I call you my mentor and I also call you an encyclopedia because of two things. When I entered PTV, you were one of the first to see some kind of a spark which I did not see, and you were the one who pushed me to do live shows at the President House, at the presidency. All of a sudden I said, why am I going? He said, no, you can do it, go and do it. I still remember I was so nervous. You said, you don't need to be nervous. You have this knack of looking out for talent and knowing if a person has it in him or her or not. Was it always the case with you? When Pakistan television began in the 1960s, was it easy to find talent that would be part of that network at that time?
Let's talk about Lahore of 60s and 70s when I joined television. It was not like this today. We could leisurely walk from Charing Cross up till Shazan and of course Indus Hotel and meet people there. And further the road, if you go there, there was a party house. It was a place of intellectuals, and at the same time discussing what's happening on television at the same time also, you see. So you can see it was a grand mix. Lahore was a grand mix of culture and people and religion. And to be very honest, I was in fact, when I joined television through Shoaib Hashmi, we were from Government College, I did my masters, and he was DC, he was the president of Government College Dramatic Club. Myself and Piru Usman Pirzada and Arshad Mahmood, we were all his disciples. And he was doing Sachgap at that time, and he took us along to television. and there was Aslam Azhar.
Which year was that?
This was 70, early 70.
All right.
71, 72. And he's, in fact, Aslam Azhar was there. You see, he is such a person, Aslam Azhar and Agha Nasir, we always watched them from a very low angle. They were like demigod to us. We learned so much from them, you see. Everything, every bit of production. When we entered, there was this philosophy of television: education, information and entertainment. Now it's missing from PTV. All these three philosophies are not there anymore. But anyway, when we went there, he was taking interviews, Aslam Azhar. Let me tell you how he took interviews. He was with his pipe. What's your name? Ji, my name is Muniza Faz. Your father name, Ji, Faz Ahmed Faz. What are you doing? I've done my graduation in Khalid College. I'm looking for a job. Okay. Next. What's your name, Ji? Kamal Hamid. What's your father? I don't have a father, Ji. I have a mother, Mohni Hamid. She is working in Radio Pakistan. Okay. Who are you? What's your name, Ji? My name is Shamim Ahmed. And my mother is a labor leader in bank. And Shamim Hilali, of course. They were all inducted in one go. 67, the batch of 67 was called this batch of Khalid College. They all were, and including some other people. Now, let me tell you who the anchors were at that point in time. Like Muhammad Idris was there, Satnam Mahmood, if you remember her name, she was there. She used to conduct Punjabi programs, and at the same time, English. She was so fluent in English and Punjabi. And then, of course, Kishwar Nahid was there, Ashfaq Saab was there, and so was the last but not the least, Naveed Shahzad. They were the people, you see, they knew all the languages. They could speak Punjabi, Urdu, English fluently at the same time. So this is how we have run. And it was, he was very strict. Aslam Azhar was such a strict person. If a talib, the position of the telep is slightly angular, he used to shout from there. Live television, we had a live television at that time, a transmission, and used to shout there. And every Monday we had a meeting.
All right.
Producers meeting. Used to thrash the producers. We used to feel, in fact, everyone used to feel shy because their programs were being discussed there. So I joined I joined with Sachga. Then I did Tal Matol. Then I did, of course, Sukhanwar with the top. Faiz Saab was there, and so was Sufi Saab. And then, of course, I did Dastan Go, storytellers, story of storytellers. And look what the people I got. Khatija Mastoor, Hajra Masroor, Ashfaq Ahmed, Banu Qudsiya, of course, all the top people you can think of, including the person who wrote this Anandi. So they were the people. And then, of course, when it was 81, yeah. Kamal Aftab was the GM at that time, and he said, can I give you a tip? I said, what? He said, look, we have Saira Kazmi here. We have Shahzad Khalil at Lahore Center. Muhammad Nisar Hussain is there. Yawar Hayat is there, and so is myself. So I don't think it will take a lot of time for you to learn drama and to do drama productions. So the best for you is to join music, take music. I said, okay. I was young. I didn't bother myself. I said, okay, give it to me. So I agreed to do drama, music. And then next day, there was this meeting, weekly meeting with the producers. And he announced that Khaja Najam is doing a program. And from the next quarter, we are doing Tarannum with Madam Noor Jahan. Najam is going to direct the program. And of course, after, it is going to be telecast from 7:30 to 8. And from 8, it's going to be Varis.
Oh.
Acha, I said, sir, has somebody talked to Noor Jahan? She is taking 18,000 rupees for a song. And she charges for 6 songs, she used to take advance. And if a producer misses that day, he has to pay again 18,000 to take her back to the studios. She was such a strict person regarding money. So I knew her through Farida Khanum. Let me tell you one thing. When I joined TV, we had 10 queens. And now, of course, you know them so well. Malkai Tarannum, of course, Melody Queen, Noor Jahan. Malkai Mosiki, of course, Roshan Arabai. Then Malkai Ghazal, Queen of Ghazal, Farida Khanum, and Iqbal Bano, and Naseem Begum. And then, of course, to start with, Queen of Blank Verse, Nayara Noor. even if you come, Malika Pukhraj, Acha, Sufi Queen Abada Parveen, Queen of the Desert Reshma, Queen of the Mountains Sangha. So they don't have, in India doesn't have these kind of queens, except Lata. There's nobody, because she didn't let anyone enter her I mean, where she was working in the music industry. So these are the people there, and of course the male, you all know, King of Ghazal Mehdi Hasan, and King of Ghazal Ghulam Ali, and King of Kings of Qawwali Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, and I have worked with all of them. I'm so lucky. At an age when I joined television, I did my masters and I started working. I went to Noorjahan. Now, coming back to Madam Noorjahan, I had to go to her place. And I asked Farida ji, I said, Farida ji, I'm doing this program, because she had done 2 programs with me already in 70s. So she said, okay, I'll just tell her, you go tonight. I and Farooq Bashir, we took that Chakra Gadi, as you know, television. You just came on that. I was laughing because in 1974 we had the same problem at Lahore Center, that same Chakra Gadi. It was red, huge, and khad khad khad. Achha, and now the driver knocked at her, and the driver, the person came out. He said, "Bibi ji, aange tusi baitho andar." We went and sat inside. There was this music going on. Baba ji, her ustad, and Mannu bhai, he was playing harmonium. And I asked them. He said, "Madam ka farman hai, the music must go on. The show must go on from morning till night. And if it stops, you think that I'm dead. I'm no more in this house." Oh. So this is what she used to say. You see, the matter was, she's not going to learn. Whenever she's doing her makeup or she's cooking, so the music is being played 24 hours. If it's in the evening, it's the rag, whatever it is, Aman, or it's a morning, it's Bhairo. These are the rags. Of course, she was her favorite rags. So while doing her makeup, she used to, along with them, along with the instrumental musicians are playing, she used to do her riyaz. So this is how I went there, and after about 2 hours, Farooq was with me, Farooq Bashir. You know, we were roommates for 10 years in one room. Of course, now let me tell you how we were. In one room, Saira Kazmi was there, myself was there, Shirin Pasha was there, Shehzad Khalil. A friendship which never ended till date. All of them, except for people who left us very early, and we really miss them. So this is how we really worked. And she said, "What are you going to pay me?" I took the contract with me along, because I knew to satisfy Madam is a very difficult thing, as Farida ji told me. So I gave her the contract. She just looked at it and she said, "Oh, beda garak, 3,000, ete meri ek lipstick bhi nahi aandi, main 18,000, I'm charging 18,000 at that point in time," she was saying. So I said, "Okay, Madam, if you have any problem, let me tell you, Farida Khanum also got, she gets 500 rupees per song. Of course, she's Pride of Performance, so are you. Mehdi Hasan is getting the same amount." So when she realized that, okay, she looked into my eyes while I was talking to her, and she just signed the contract. Oh. I was on cloud 9. I thought I got a lottery.
Exactly, because as you said, she never would have agreed on a sum less than 18,000.
On 500 rupees and 3,000 for 4 songs. And she said, "Okay, meri ek shart." I said, "Of course, please tell me." She said, "If I don't come beautiful on the screen, if my close-ups are not good, I am going to leave there and then." I agreed. So after 10 days she came. She wanted to do the program, I knew that, and with me. She came, and there was this color television had already arrived, and there was a big color monitor, and she did a style, and she said, "Okay, fine, let's see how I look." I came down and she saw the monitor and she said, "Can you please call the cameraman?" I just called everybody. They came and they stood like this. She said, "I think I have to tell you who I am, but I know who you are. You are all disciples of a cameraman who was my third assistant in Shahnaaz Studios, Nabi Ahmed Saab." So they were all his disciples. And they were standing like this. She said, "Koi lighting hai ki? Acha, I have a double chin. Why didn't you cover it? Why didn't you give a shade on my chin?" So she was standing at the same place where she was being recorded, and she was instructing the lightman and the cameraman, give यहाँ पे shade डालें जी, अच्छा उधर shade डल गया, chain खत्म, अच्छा there was no double chain. Then she said give a light, ऊंचा करें, base ऊंचा करो जी. There was this light here on back of her hair, and she said this is fine. Then she said मेरी साड़ी पे एक light on my sari, and there's a baby light just for my eyes only, just for my eyes. So I said, why? She said, at this point in time, I'm so annoyed with you for this rubbish thing we recorded. But then you see, now I'm feeling much
at ease.
At ease with you, and I know that things are going to be better now. And she was very happy. It was recorded. Now I tell you why she wanted this. She said, it was in my heart when I was abusing, but if you look into my eyes, it goes into the heart. You see, जो दिमाग या वो होता है ना, आँखें, वो आपकी रूह की गहराइयों तक. It goes into your spirit.
And she saw through you when she looked at you, basically.
She looked like, of course, like me. Achha, then, of course, they were all very friendly with me. All these, Roshan Arabai and Farida ji and all, we used to go for picnics, we used to go for hoteling and cinemas, and we watched every film, we watched every theatre with them. Madam was very, in fact, after she used to doing her 3 consecutive songs in Punjabi, she used to come back, then we used to sit at her place, she used to call her friends. Now today she called Anjuman, her favorite at that point in time.
Right.
Luddi Hai Jamalo and those songs, she was doing those, and top songs, they were so, and she used to ask her, look, she asked the composer, Wajahat, to bring the cassette. At that point in time, there were cassettes, there were no CDs. So he brought the CD and she played it on her disc, and Anjuman danced.
Oh.
That tomorrow, take this like this, do like this. There's a certain pause which I made. You have to play with your hair and your face. And
so she knew exactly. She was more a director.
She was an actor also at the same time, and a great musician. As Lataji says, that I have not found any other person. She, in 1946, Lataji said that when she was doing Badi Ma at Prafula Pune, and I was doing an extra role, my sister Asha was doing her childhood. So this is how she said, I really respect Madam Noorjahan a lot.
You know, this respect is something that is extremely important. It is also has been a hallmark of Pakistan television, respect amongst colleagues. In the early years, in the 60s, 70s and 80s, and also in the 90s, you have seen and have overseen that this respect remains within the environment of Pakistan television. How important is that for an organization to function properly? Respecting each other from the seniors to the juniors.
All of us, I just told you that we were like a team. Shahzad Khalid, Saira Kazmi, Shirin Pasha, myself, Tanveer Masood, Farooq Bashir, we earned respect. Not a single, they used to come to a room. In fact, Ghulam Ali was sitting there, Madam Noorjahan, at 9 o'clock, the door used to open, and Malka Pukhraj was there. She used to go to the convent to fetch her, the granddaughter, but while she used to sit there, there was a horn out there, we were just chatting, and there was this Farida ji, and there was a call, the guard comes and says, Farida ji is waiting for you, Farooq sahab aur aap, wo keh rahe hain gaadi mein aa jaye. We used to sit in her car, she drives recklessly, she used to drive recklessly, and she took us to red light area where this famous Ustad Daman place. She said कि कल उन्होंने क्या सीखे जी, आज कीमे वाला कीमा मटर कीमा बढ़ाओ. I have made for him.
All right.
She loved, you see, he's a great man. So she first of all, she ने वहाँ झाड़ू दिया सारा. फिर एक table, she brought a table from somewhere, and then she placed from her boot में से, she put her everything there, अखबार रखा, then ये खाना शाना, and then she started pouring उनके मुंह में डाल के खाना. So I could see tears in his eyes. Ustad Daman was an old person. He was living in Shah Hussein's coterie, a small coterie, and he was so happy there. He said, Farida, tere aaste mein kuch likhe. I said, what? He said, कि मैं जट्टी पन दरियावान दी मेरे लहरा वर्गे वाल for film Mirza Jat.
All right.
So she said कि है तो बड़ा सोना है तो उसी बीबी को लुक रहा है because it was she knew exactly that he's going to get it from Madam Noor Jahan. This song is a filmy song and she couldn't sing it, so that's how she managed to get away from that. So these are the little things, and of course we had a lovely time when I and Farooq used to go to them. Let me tell you about Roshan Ara Begum. I just called her and I said, gee, I would like to do program Chehre. She said कि आप आ जाइए. I went there and I said कि Begum Saiba, I know the time now 40 minutes of Rag Rang is not going to be there anymore. People want just few minutes and that's about all. We are all in a hurry. Everyone is hurry. There was this in 90s people were changing. The entire culture of Pakistan was changing. She said, अच्छा she was smoking. She said, फिर क्या होगा? मैंने कहा जी फिर वही होगा जो 1935 में when there was this in All India Radio when it started and you were doing these rags छोटे छोटे दादरे और ठुमरियाँ in 3 minutes and 17 seconds, because this 78 RPM, you can see this behind me, this was at that point in time 3 minutes and 18 seconds. You have to finish your singing, including your saying, Mera naam hai Akhtari Bhai Faizabadi. So because when it used, the mummy used to go to London for the processing, for the making of these tawas. So they didn't know the singer, the name of the singer. So they had to announce and they had to, there's this tawa there and it's written, emblem is there that, achha. So let's talk again about Roshan Ara Bai. Roshan Ara Bai was just sitting there with her cats, two cats on her lap. And she didn't have any issue. She didn't have any children. So she said that, अच्छा, तो एक शर्त है मेरी. तो मैंने कहा पता नहीं क्या शर्त होगी, like Madam Noor Jahan के मैं तो 18. She said मेरी बिल्लियों के लिए you have to bring घुंघरूस for them. Okay. Because वो they're the only source of entertainment I have and I love them. तो जब आओगे ना इस दफा, I'll go with you to Lahore and I'll record those dadras, but don't forget to bring those ghungroos and go and get it from red light area. I said, okay. I went to red, and she said कि उसको ट्यून कराना है. वो जो तबला नवाज हमारे थे ना, उस्ताद जी जो उनके साथ बजाते थे, जो किसी और के साथ नहीं बजाते थे, उनके साथ वो उनसे करवा के लाना. I went to red light and I got those ghungroos and I went to Ustad ji and he just tuned them and he put them into elastic because there were 4 pairs of ghungroos. And when I went there, she was sitting with her cats in her lap, and she said, "Where are the ghungroos?" I said, "I just gave her one by one." She started putting them in the feet. अच्छा, अब वो एक छाल मार के जब गई है ना, उनकी आंखों में she had tears in her eyes, and she said, कितने दिनों के बाद आज मैंने घुंघरू की आवाज सुनी. That reminded me of Calcutta. 1925 का कलकत्ता उन्हें याद आया बीबी को.
You know, it is very important for because respect is very important, but secondly also understanding who you deal with.
Yes.
And you've dealt with, hundreds of artists over the decades and stars, mega stars. You've just given us some of the examples through Madam Ji, through Roshan Ara Begum Sahiba.
And then Roshan Ara then of course after Roshan Ara and Farida Ji and Iqbal Bano and Naseem Begum and all, we started, of course, Nayara came along with me. Tahira was there, then Tina was there, then Nahid Akhtar came, and then A. Nayyar came, Akhlaq Ahmad came, all new people came. In fact, let me tell you, I was allocated every year 1-2 hours program, a music show on Eid. So these were the 10 people, and we had difficulty in fact in choosing and selecting. There were so many of them.
So how did you make that selection? Was it this year I'll take only this 1, 2, 3 and the second year?
But then you see, we had our GM also and the director program, Agha Nasir used to say, यार वो इस दफा पिछली दफा वो miss हो गई थी, whatever, फरीदा जी नहीं थी, तो उनको इस दफा ले लें. तो I said, okay sir.
And then, you started from the musical shows, you started to become more extravagant in the way you did. Musarrat Nazir, for example.
Also, she came with her record, Musarrat Horizon, and this was way back in 1983 with her husband, Dr. Arshad Majid. He came along, and she just showed me, and she played that LP, and I really liked it. Jogi Utar Pahadon Aaya, and all the folk songs she did, and very nice. And I said, let's record them. She said, when? I said, yesterday. Of course, let's start making them. And she did that. She was very intelligent, you see. Now, you see, that song which I recorded, हम उसके पास जाते थे मगर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता. She sang so beautifully in one take with 30-piece orchestra in one go, because we didn't have that kind of a rock and roll system now as we
and
have.
it became legendary.
The legendary. And now that the singer has sung, Atif Aslam, but there's a hell of a difference between his voice and her voice. She didn't have a professional voice at all, yet she sings so beautifully. And she, look at the Shadi Beya ke geet she did.
Exactly. This is what I'm trying to get to. You became more extravagant. You imbibed the culture of Pakistan as well, and you showed it to Pakistan in such a manner that it was at the same time a bit filmy, should I add, and at the same time it gave all the different aspects of what Pakistan's culture stands for. Was that intentional from your end to showcase Pakistan's culture on a global level?
Yes, we all. Let me tell you, Saira Kazmi, myself, Farooq Bashir, Shireen Pasha, we were all very cultured. We had our best institutions. We had studied. I was from Cathedral and Government College. They were all from convent and of course St. Joseph's, Karachi, Saira. We were all well read. We had our norms and traditions. We exactly knew what to do, and we have never done anything which brickbatted or people started saying things against us. Never. It never happened. And let me tell you, I was then promoted and transferred to PTV Academy. Myself and Shoaib Mansoor in '84. And but before that, they sent me to the best institution, the best institutes of the world, training institutes. Like for example, I was sent to Hilversum for 2 years. Hilversum RNTC, Radio Netherlands Training Institute, for 2 years, and then for Tokyo, NHK Tokyo. And then
that was instrumental in beginning Pakistan television services in Pakistan.
Yeah, also the same. It was 81, 82. And then I was for trainers training. That changed my concept of productions. Trainers training, because then I became a trainer, and then it was my job to train, to groom the young people who who joined television. So this was the first time, but the first batch we took was programs, and Shoaib Mansoor failed everyone. He thought, he failed. He said they are not worth it. They have come from the back door. They are not genuine producers like all of us. We came, we struggled, and we got to this position, and I think we should not promote them. But then they had already inducted them. What could we do? This was Ziaul Haq period. So it started from there. The television's downfall started. It went. And then, of course, you have to see, Nisar Mirza was, look at the cameraman I was working with at the academy. He used to teach how to handle a camera. The shots, the basic shots, and Shoaib was there, I was there. I used to give them post-production, video editing post-production, and then we used to have a world cinema, viewing all the world cinema films in the afternoon, and then having a precise essay on each of them, a critique. They used to write a critique for us, and we used to see how much they have they have taken.
All right. Now, you know, the 60s, the 70s were very formative years, and as you said, were the best years as far as Pakistan television is concerned. And the 80s, of course, then started the definitive stage of PTV, because, of course, 20 more or less 18 years had passed on since PTV had come into existence. The hallmarks of Pakistan television, if I were to ask you, in the 70s or in the 80s, including the shows that you produced, what would they be? If I were to ask you, what were the top 5 shows of the 1970s and of the 1980s?
The drama by Saira Kazmi and Shahzad Khalil. They were the best. In fact, when there was this festival in Delhi, and people used to throng to our stall for all these plays which they did. Hasina Moin's famous, you know that. Saira Kazmi did, and so was Rahat Kazmi. Shahzad Saab, of course. Parchaiyan and Tanhaiyan and various other. Ankahi Dhoop Kinar. They were all best, of course, piece of work. And so was music also at the same time. We had Noor Jahan, we had Farida Khanum. Who could say no to them? Not anyone in the world would say, no ji, we don't want to see Farida ji, or we don't want to see Roshan Arabai, or we don't want to see Iqbal Bano. They were best in their fields. So was Mehdi Hassan and Ghulam Ali and Reshma. People loved their voices. Even now we yearn for them, you see. We would like to listen to them. And now I believe there's this Netflix coming. I hope, let me tell you something very funny. I got this pictures of all the old directors, and somebody asked me, who is this person? I said, if you're working in Netflix, you're asking me, this is Muhammad Nisar Hussain, the king of long plays.
Oof, what wonderful plays he has made. You know, I
Yes.
still remember Drama 83, Drama 84, the long plays, and the audience used to yearn for them, used
Yeah.
to look forward to them. I was told plays like Varis and others, the streets used to be empty, not only in Pakistan, but also
7:30 to
India.
8 was Tarannum, 8 o'clock was Varis on every Monday, and the street used to be deserted. This is what I've seen,
The
I've done
impact,
the impact of those programs. In fact, we had not, us waqt to hamare aapas mein there was no this clash of viewership or whatever. India, to tab tak it was not there, and the rest of the channels had not started.
But do you feel, coming back to the 90s now and the 2000s, and now we are of course in 2022, not the resurgence, but the the impact of private television networks. In the beginning there were less, now there are a huge number of private television networks that are here. How did they impact Pakistan television? Were they competitive? Did they make Pakistan television more competitive? Were they a good competition to it? Do you feel they are a good addition? What's your very candid remark on that?
Honestly speaking, when we talk about these channels, to be very honest, I've never liked anyone. Any of the channels, they're all, you see, somebody who has a bread and factory, he has opened a channel. Somebody who's got a fan industry, he has opened. So what are they going to bring? I have worked with some of them. I'm sorry, they are terrible.
Okay.
They are so bad, I can't tell you how bad they are. Then of course, I say Pakistan television is the best. At least. At least we cater to people whom we really think they are.
That is true.
We are not destroying our society in a bit of what they are doing at the moment. Look at their relationships in their dramas. Husband and wife, either a secretary, he's having an affair with a secretary, he's having whatever. I don't, my wife and of course those girls who's working with, they sit and watch these dramas, and what lesson they're going to take from them.
But you know, Khalid Sahab, you remember the dialogue in the dialogues from different television plays in the golden era of PTV. There was such a lot of philosophy. There was such a lot of meaning in it. There was an impact. There was a there was always, you know, that cultural recognition of what
Bano
Pakistani society
Qudsiya's
stood
plays,
for.
Ashfaq Ahmad's plays, all of them, they had a meaning, they had a message in the end, which could be a subtle, of course, it had to be a subtle message, but it conveyed to people. We have never done those kind of plays. Now we are watching on television, on different channels. They're hopeless, I'm sorry to say.
But Khalid Sahab, do you feel that people's mindsets have also changed over the ages, and that is why the private channels or even the streaming networks are now catering to what they want to
I
see?
don't believe. In fact, whatever I do, even now, people have never objected to it. I've done so many things. You know that I'm doing up till now. I did Naira, I did Tina. I'm doing with the new set of singers from classical gharanas, from Sham Churasi and from Patiala. They're all young. This is the 8th generation of singers, because I don't want them to be not included in our new setup. Because they are the people who are going to, they are classical singers, they have learned classical. It's much more easier with them to give a tune and they give you back immediately. They learn because they know the classics, the classic, of course, ragas.
That is true. Khalid Sahab, you know, in the 60s and 70s, the technology was very different. In the 80s, that new technology started to come. You yourself talked about the cassettes, then they were replaced with CDs. Now everything is on hard disks or on USBs. And you know, even CDs have kind of lost their impact. In this whole changing scenario that you have been witness to, do you feel that content has taken a back seat?
It has. You see, when I was doing Tarannum, we had just 4 channels, audio. And it used to be with 35-piece orchestra, Madam Noor Jahan, and if something goes wrong somewhere, or maybe a musician had done something wrong, so it used to be re-recorded again and again. It used to take 15 takes, and Madam used to sing, because there was no other choice. They had to do it. But now that with the advent of this rock and roll, there's just one person sitting, a tabla man comes, he puts his input, and then comes a sitar wala, and the singer comes and he just sing one line or one sentence or one word which is being edited at the same time. And where is the spirit of the song then? Ruh to mar gayi na gaane ki. As Madam used to say, I can't sing like this.
That you've also seen, you know, live television. You talked about in the very beginning that when you joined Pakistan Television, everything used to be live.
Yes.
You know, there was nothing recorded, and you said how...
I have done live up till now. Of course, Bhatt is sitting here. He knows I started Raat Gaye in 2005.
All right.
The first program was at 12
midnight.
And I was director program from the third floor I used to go down to the Chaghi auditorium. We had erected a set there. And Tina, I remember the first program was with Tina Sani and Zahra Nigah. And Zahra Appa's, you know what poetry she writes, and it was so beautiful. Then second was Tahira, third was Sayyid Noor, fourth was the top people. And when the president saw, he said, why it's 12 o'clock? And then it had to come back to 10 o'clock, from 12 midnight to 10, and it is still running. This is 2022. I started in 2005, and it's still there, and Shamoon Hashmi is conducting the show from Lahore.
Now, speaking of Shamoon Hashmi, you have mentored many anchors who are now leading faces, or have been, or still continue to be. Tawseeq Haider, Farooq Hassan, Shamoon, myself, and so many others. What is the basic thing that you look for in an anchor, that you say, all right, this person, man or woman, can deliver? I'm sorry, you cannot. I'm sorry, I cannot take you for, because you are very blunt. I know that.
I know. If somebody, I'm sitting in my room, if somebody comes straight to me, I can just gather. It's, you see, a person has 3 things in me. Of course, you have the same: a brain, a heart, and gut. I use my gut feelings, you see. And I could see a girl or a boy, whatever who comes for audition, I can see whether she could go through, whether she can click or not. That's it's in me. I can just tell you. So touch wood, I have never went wrong, but of course I could go wrong. I have not yet till. But now people are not coming at all. I have to go to them now. I have to go to all those Patiala Gharanas people, to the 8th generation. I have to go to Sham Churasi Gharana. Shujaat is there, Shafqat is there, and Shafqat is also there. Shafqat Amanat is there, Shafqat Salamat is in Sham Churasi, and so is other people. I know them well, and they respect me, and they come out and they do the program to my satisfaction, because they know classical. They have been trained in classical.
When you look at the new era, let's put it that way, is there still importance attached to Pakistan's culture, traditions, like you said, classical music?
Absolutely. Absolutely, we have to give preference to classical music the first time, because that is the only music which gives you peace of mind, which gives you even if it's an instrumental on sitar or on guitar, on wherever, or a vocal, it gives you a peace of mind. Music is always, it plays, you see, I'm sitting alone by myself, I'm writing a book or whatever, and music is there. I'm just listening to it and I'm writing at the same time.
You know,
that is the best companion I have.
That is true, and I think it's a very healthy companion as
Yes.
well. It's good for the mind, it's good for the body, it's good for the soul.
All.
And exactly. So it's the ultimate medicine, as one can put it. This said, when you look at Pakistan television or other television networks, and when you also know that what is very important in this day and age for a country like Pakistan is to promote its soft narrative, its soft image, and that can only be promoted through our culture, through our traditions, and through our shows, our programs. What do you feel you want to see on television that you feel can portray the true image of Pakistan?
I think we have dearth of new talent. Anchors, we are facing a lot of problems, and actors also.
Okay.
They should be, in fact, had it been myself and Saira and whatever, we would have made a group of people or taking auditions and then putting them onto the screen and giving them some tips at the academy. That is the best place, you see, where you can bring them, teach them, send them to various centers, and that's about all. Your problems are solved in a minute like this. They have to, you see, I asked somebody, I said, why don't you ask Saira to do this? Why didn't you ask Shiri Pasha or Shoaib
Sarah
Mansoor?
no longer wants to.
No, they want to.
They do?
They want. If I ask them, they are willing to do it,
Okay.
you see. Let's start something. Even I just told you, Sharmeen Ubaid Chunai was willing to do a workshop with me at the academy.
All right.
But then who's the? Who wants to do it? Nobody. Academy, there's no one there.
That is true. But what kind of shows do you feel can really promote Pakistan's narrative?
Social issues.
Okay.
Social issues kitne hain? There's so many social issues.
But don't the private networks show a lot of social issues as well?
उनमें कंटेंट नहीं होता. They don't have a content there, you see. फजूल किस्म के खड़े होके वो सवाल कर देना is not a good idea.
So you feel Pakistan television should restart producing
with our
its own
norms,
play-
with our norms. According to our norms, we have to do it. I am so well read. My wife is also a teacher, but we believe in our norms, you see.
I think we need to remain within those norms.
Yes,
when
we
do
have to
anything.
remain. Otherwise, I'm sorry.
What about music? I mean, you are in touch with all the classical gharanas as well, but are they being promoted on the different networks?
Unfortunately, these classical singers like Shafqat Amanat or Shafqat Salamat or the other Shujaat Ali, they are doing on their own. They're spending their money on the YouTube, and of course it's being played, and then they get
Money out of it.
money or whatever, or private concerts.
But shouldn't they be highlighted on?
Like we had, like we did in
like
70s,
exactly.
60s.
Like you've done so many
Yeah.
shows, you've highlighted so many singers, and you've seen who has the potential, who hasn't. You talked about Nusrat Nazir Saiba as well, and how you
Even
found the
now,
potential.
today, somebody asked me, we were celebrating 75 years of radio, you were there. And I said, Radio Pakistan has 75 years of music. And there are so many good songs. Why can't we start with our young generation? Like those people, like Shujaat and Shafqat, and they sing those old songs, Karachi Se Kimadi, and those beautiful songs, 75 years. It can be done with modern orchestra. It can be done with modern beat. It can be done with modern, of course, whatever you want to do. We have the best musicians here. Composers we are lacking behind, because just we have one Sohail Rana, and he's also not here. And we don't have musicians and composers at the same time.
But
We
you
should
you
prove them.
feel that they need to be properly trained as well.
Yes. Why is Academy there? We should put them there, bring them there, do our things, and if they are good, let's do it for telecast. It's a service.
True. And that is what Pakistan television is. It's a
We
state
have to
channel.
do it.
This is
Otherwise, we are lost. Let me tell you this thing. We have to. There have to be a certain group of like-minded people. As I told you, Saira is there. She's still alive. Shoaib is alive. Myself, Shireen Pasha. Of course, then there are so many other directors, so many good directors of television. They're doing nothing.
But they should be brought back. This is
Brought
what you're
back,
trying
of
to-
course. To the academy, to have workshops, to bring the top people there, like Sharmeen or whatever. Dr. Javed Jabbar used to come and give us
He
lectures.
still comes, but he comes in a private capacity, and
Yes.
he does give lectures. I saw he was very recently in Islamabad as well.
He was the first one to come to our academy for
Okay.
and Dr. Akbar Ahmed, both of them, who made Qaid-e-Azam.
All right.
the feature film.
Oh, Jinnah.
Jinnah, sorry, Jinnah.
Khalid sahab, we talked about the importance of PTV's academy. Now, PTV's academy has at one time also been used a lot, still is used for training purposes, but also was used as a ground where you filmed TV series. One of your very important series was Tansen with Zeba Bakhtiar and Asif Raza Mir. Now, how did you conceive that, and did you think it would be as iconic when you were filming it?
Listen, let me tell you something. We had Zaman Ali Khan. He was a dynamic person. And we were doing, this was 1989. And he said, it's a Silver Jubilee. We were doing Pakistan Television Awards, Silver Jubilee Awards, 89. So he said, why don't you give, he told the managing director, Academy is going to do it. So I was there as director. Zaman Sah was holding the fort, and we did the first PTV Silver Jubilee Awards in 1989. We invited Runa Laila, we invited Shahnaz Begum, we invited Firdausi, everyone, even Nazia Zuhaib. It was a jam-packed program. It is, if you just see again, you'll just find, he was a bit, look, I'll tell you, there were three people. We were so lucky to have those dynamic people in television, like I told you, Aslam Azhar Saab, Agha Nasir, Zaman Ali Khan, Maslehuddin from the sports, and so many other people. Of course, I worked with Akhtar Waqar. These are the 5 people I've worked continuously from 1974 onwards, and Shoaib Hashmi. So they were the people who knew exactly what I can do, or Shoaib Mansoor. Shoaib Mansoor did, if you remember, Dil Dil Pakistan.
Of course,
from the Academy.
Vital Signs.
Yes, Vital Signs for the Academy. I did Tansen in 89. So what Zaman Sahab said, let's start a new, with the involving your students, the trainees, and do something here. I called Hasina. It was done in a workshop situation. All producers were sitting there, the writer was there, I was there, and we exactly knew what to do. I said, let's do Tansen. She said, how? I told Hasina, I said, it's going to be running back and forth in times. There's this researcher who's doing Faryal Gohar, who's doing research on Tansen, and we go back into past. And then we cut back and forth in times. So it really played. It played the trick. Zeba was in the past, so was Asif Raza Mir as Tansen. He was one of the 9 jewels of Akbar music, Ustad Tansen. The music was great. Nayera sang, and so was Hamid Ali Khan as Tansen. It worked well. And so at that point in time, you see, PTV Academy was a place where we used to do experimental things. And we didn't pay much to the artist, and Zeba didn't want anything, because her father, Yahya Bakhtiar, was Attorney General at that point in time, and he was staying in this Balochistan house. So was Zeba. She used to come in her own transport. We used to go to Atak fort, and with Zeba and with Asif Raza Mir and Faryal and Sajid Hassan, and we used to, at the lunch break, we used to bring our ज़मीन में बिछाया सारा खाना, ड्राइवर से लेके कैमरामैन से लेके लाइटमैन, all were sitting. Nobody bothered कि ये driver है ये. We were all
like a family.
It was like a family. It was like a team. There's so many. The driver is sitting there. Ask him. He was with us, and he was, in fact, while we were shooting, he used to make preparation for the food.
All right. Khalid Sahab, finally, you know, we are in 2022 and celebrating the 58th anniversary of Pakistan Television. You've seen different decades of PTV. You have some very good thoughts about it. You've shared very good memories of how you interacted with the stars of those times, and you've also criticized on where you think Pakistan Television lacks. How do you see the future of Pakistan Television? What would you like to see Pakistan Television in the future as a network? Because now it's no longer just PTV. Now it's PTV Home, it's PTV News, it's PTV World, it's PTV Sports, and then the PTV AJK and the other subsidiaries. So it's a whole network. How do you want to see PTV in the next decade?
It's a very difficult question to answer, because They're all young people, and even if you're sitting, the entire crew is sitting here, they know me well. I was just telling them, isko yun kar lo, isko yun kar lo, isko yun.
And you oversaw everything. Even before the show started, you were telling our producers on how to take the right camera angle.
The right camera angle. नहीं, इस तरह के लोग अब हैं नहीं television में, like us. Because मैं तो कहीं भी जाता हूँ ना, I just tell them, I don't shout at them now anymore because that's useless. I just tell them in my own style कि अगर इसको यूं कर लेते तो ज़्यादा बेहतर नहीं था. अगर इसको यूं कर ले ये ज़्यादा अच्छा लगेगा. Let's try. You see, then they are convinced. Otherwise, you see, some people वो सोचते हैं यार पता नहीं हमारी बेइज्जती ना हो जाए. ये भी एक डर होता है ना. हमारी तरह तो कोई है नहीं दलेर के जाओ जी आओ मुक्का दीवार पे मारो.
But the fact remains, Khalid sir, you know, it's very
we need
yes.
like-minded people. About 4 or 5 that can be change
Enough.
the entire spectrum of PTV. Just 5 or 6 like-minded people and strong-willed. Because देखिए एक चीज मैं आपको बताऊं, I have never deviated from this black book you called fee structure. I have just picked up, gee, this is what I can pay to you, madam. This is 500, it's there, and 500 for your bridal performance fee. That's about all. Till date, I've not paid from कि जी इनको लाखों दे दो. Why should we pay them? Why should we pay to somebody who's earning crores of money, Rahat Fateh Ali or whatever, Atif Aslam? We can't afford them. Even Abda Parveen, when she comes, we just pay her fee, whatever she deserves.
And she always obliges us.
Because she has worked with me for such a long time.
Finally, before we end the show, Khalid sahab, if I were to say Pakistan television, what are the first 3 or 4 words that come to your mind?
PTV is my home. PTV is my family. PTV is a place where I meet all my friends, old and new, because all new people are also I really like them. In fact, I go to the centers, I talk to them, I go to Lahore Center, I go for Silver Jubilee anniversaries and whatever it's happening. I go to news, I go to, and wherever I go, I meet nice people. Or maybe I'm lucky that I get those good people.
I think, Khalid sahab, you've been hardworking, you've been maybe lucky if you say so, but you've been instrumental in making Pakistan television what it is.
I have learned so much from you today because he was the cameraman, and from your Bhatt Sahab, who was who was assisting me during in 2005. Do you know that? Raat Gaya started, and he was there with me.
It should be a group of like-minded people who bring forth Pakistan's true culture,
Just 5.
traditions.
5 is enough. If there are 5 like-minded people, we can change the entire fabric of television. I'm not joking.
All right.
I'm not joking at all. I'm very, very hopeful.
Khaja Najmul Hasan Saab, thank you so very much. You've been so kind, not only to me personally, because I am here in a large part because of the talent that you saw in me years ago, and how you pushed me to do things I never would have dreamt I would have done. I am here thanks to you, and I'm sure there are so many others that are so thankful to you. Starting, I'm sure, from Begum Sahib also, from Noor Jahan Madam, to others who saw something in you, that spark in you, and that is the spark that we need to have more of in our networks to further groom our new generation. So, sir, kudos to you, and thank you very much to have been here to celebrate PTV's 50th birthday with us, with our viewers as well. Khaja Saab, thank you from the bottom of my heart.